Can you please give me the topic?
All right, sir, can you ask your question again?
Ma'am, I am willing to answer the question. Can you please give me the topic?
Yes, topic is musical instruments. I think I have mentioned in the last class, like we will continue for part one topic for musical instruments.
Actually, in the last class, I was absent.
All right, okay. But if you, I just mentioned for part one, I have not shared part two and part three. If you was not aware of this topic, you can just answer the question. It is not necessary to go through the topic before answering. You try to speak on any topic. You need to improve your speaking skills and you need to make sure that you are ready to talk on any topic at any time. So your language skills should not be depending on the topic. So those who want to answer all the questions for part one, they can raise hand, or otherwise if you want to take my practice test for part one, like this topic, you can also take. You want, if you want to become my examiner. Anyone? All right, ma'am Suman, if you want to take my test, you can take it. And I would suggest, if you don't want to speak other participants without knowing about the topic, in the meanwhile time you can prepare yourself. I will ask the same topic question.
Ma'am, I would like to give the answer as well as I will also take your test.
Okay. Ma'am, is it possible you can take my test first, because I
Yes,
want
ma'am.
to
Yes, ma'am, sure.
to this topic.
Yes, ma'am, sure. Okay, our first question is, have you ever learned, ma'am, the topic is musical instrument, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever learned to play a musical instrument?
To be honest, I have never been taught how to play with different type of musical instruments. I think there were no institutions in my area which help different students to develop this skill. That was the reason I did not get any chance. Also, I am not interested to learn any musical information because my major is in another field.
Okay, great, ma'am. You said any situation, right? In my area.
Institutions.
Okay. Institution. Okay. What musical instrument do you enjoy listening to the most?
Uh, what musical instruments you enjoy them?
Do you enjoy listening to the most?
To be honest, I am not aware of different kinds of musical instruments. However, I have saw just one child in online video who was playing a guitar, and at that time I enjoyed listening to the sounds of that guitar.
Okay. Mom, can you scroll the screen? Do you think children should learn to play an instrument at school?
I don't think so. It is necessary for every kids to gain skill in this field. If they want to become a musician in the near future, then they can learn about it. But if they don't have any plan to pursue this field as a major, then I think there's no need to learn about those skills.
Okay. Do you think music education is important for children?
I don't think so. It is much necessary, as I mentioned before. If they want to become singer, then it is necessary. Or want to adopt their careers in entertainment industry, then they should learn all those skills which are necessary. Otherwise, if they have other plans like studying science or other subjects, then they can skip this education.
Okay, great.
I think this is the end of the test.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone has feedback, you can provide me.
Ma'am, I didn't notice any grammar mistake from your answers, but and you accurately covered all the part, and I think it is okay. You
Okay,
with your
what was your last suggestions?
ma'am. I'm not giving you any suggestion.
All
I
right.
just said your answer is perfect.
Anyone else?
Anyone else? Yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for being my examiner and providing me the feedback. Anyone has any suggestions for my performance?
No, ma'am.
Okay, by the way, this topic seems little bit difficult and I have not prepared in advance. Like I just discussed, we will discuss that topic and I again open this topic today. I want to give this test first because I want to analyze how I can speak on this topic without having any information. So I tried, like I don't have any information in this topic, and you can see how I answer this question without having any knowledge, without having any prior preparation. Like I had not went through with any ideas in the beginning. Although I mentioned that we will discuss this topic in the upcoming Monday, but this is the way you can answer this question, and you can learn from others how you can answer. So so that you can answer any topic in the exam if it is unfamiliar with you, because you need to show your skill, and if you're not able to show your skill and just take a worry during the test like the topic is unknown, you can't speak, just give your best and show your language skills, because if you have the ability to communicate in this language, then you don't need to be dependent on the topic. So you just try to say accurately what you are saying and just come up with the ideas which are at least somehow relevant to the questions. Because the examiner is assessing based on your language skills, not how much your ideas are creative.
Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. Can I ask one question?
Walaikum assalam, sir. Yes, you can ask question if you
Yes,
have.
I am joining this class for the first time, and I am also preparing for IELTS. Can you guide me how everyone is preparing IELTS speaking in this class?
So we are doing practice nowadays in this session. In the past, we also discussed some helpful resources. You can refer to the recordings which are mentioned in the pin sheets of the channel. Like you can find some Excel sheets in the pin messages of the channel where all the recordings and the topic which we have discussed in the class mentioned there. If you are facing difficulty in any particular area, you can learn some strategies which we have discussed. Otherwise, we are doing practice here. You can join this live class and you can start your practice. You don't need to watch any kind of practice related videos, recordings. If you need helpful tips, like we have discussed certain tips in certain sessions, topic of each lecture is mentioned in the sheet. So you can refer to that, but make sure certain live videos which are posted after February, Facebook has deleted due to their recent policy. So I have also created YouTube playlist, so you can refer to that.
Thank you.
Anyone has any other question? Okay, I would like to ask anyone who would like to answer the question for this part. Anyone who would like to practice for part 1 practice questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, I want to answer these questions.
Okay, two questions you can answer, and those who want, they can raise your hand. I will ask a question from you. Okay, sir. Taki, you can unmute yourself, and I am going to ask the question. After that, ma'am, Sumbal can answer the question because she also mentioned that she would like to answer this topic. Okay, let's discuss. Have you ever learned to play a musical instrument?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I tried to learn ukulele a few years ago. I actually learned it from my younger brother. He started to teach me how to play ukulele. Ukulele is actually a small guitar, but in like same like guitar, but in small size. He started to learn, teach me how to play ukulele. Even he taught me how to play a tune of song Happy Birthday to You. I learned it. It was too much difficult for me. And after learning a 1 to 2 minute tunes, I left it and I considered it was not it was not the thing that is of my taste.
All right. So, what musical instruments do you enjoy listening to the most?
Actually, as I mentioned in the previous question that I learned a few years ago about ukulele, so I like mostly about the guitar. But I listen in the guitar in the environment where there is not any kind of noise. Actually, I want it in a silent atmosphere.
Do you think children should learn to play an instrument at school?
Actually, it depends upon the taste of the every student because this is the thing that is related to the interest of a student. It should not be necessary for any student, actually not compulsory for a student.
So let's talk about the next question. Do you think music education is important for children?
I want to answer this question according to my culture and society where I lived, and also according to my religion. The music is not considered a good habit in our society, even our religion. So it should not. It is not important to get a children education related to the music.
Okay, before my feedback, anyone who would like to provide feedback to sir questions and answers?
Sir, you tried your best to answer all the question. Uh, well, you take some little pauses, but I think with the passage of time, you covered it all. But I appreciate your effort.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, sir. For the suggestion regarding pillar first, ma'am provided, so I agree with it. Okay, try to speak like with a casual conversation. So sometime when we are stressed and we're just focusing on like this is the exam, we try to speak like that, and at that time we are producing more filler words. So I would say try to work on it. We have one lessons on filler words you can find in the recording, and you can notice like which filler words we have discussed there, like which strategies you need to adopt in order to deal with this problem. I would say refer to that lecture. It will help you. And if I say try to bring synonyms, like you said, if I talk about my music education, you talk this, but you just say one line. After that, try to use synonym of music education. You can say that learning skills related to music, like learning musical skills, are not allowed in my religion. And you one time you talk about habit. It's not a habit. I think is this was this in last question?
Actually, it was the second last.
I think you were talking about learning, and then you said it habit. In my opinion, learning is not a habit. Habit is something different. So you can restructure and you can bring some synonyms instead of saying that. Like we can talk about learning musical skills. I think these what you also notice in my speaking. Try to observe others while they are speaking, so that you can say that you have attempted good, like your attempt was good, but I was giving you a suggestion to bring improvement in your speaking. In the first sentence, two times you use, one time you use speech and one time you use start. So second was right, but when you use first and teach, you were talking about past, so you need to use past form of a verb. And these are some grammatical mistake you need to work on it, and you can speak at least 20 seconds for this part. And in some person, if you are a little bit try to finishing your answer for 3 seconds, at that time, don't try to force yourself to answer each person just around 20 seconds. So if you are finishing some ideas at like 50 seconds and then you are forcing to come up with new ideas, it can also affect your performance. So I would say try to focus on this part as well. So I would say you have the ability to speak, but with the passage of time, try to work on different areas and weakness, you will improve it. And I hope so you will be able to do it. It is doable task.
Thank
I
you,
have
ma'am.
no suggestion for God. I think it was for second person, but I did not remember. So anyone, Ma'am Subal, would you like to answer the question?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I can ask the question. Then we can move to our next topic, so that for the next topic, I would say other participants also give their try. Have you ever learned to play a musical instrument?
Well, I have never learned to play a musical instrument because when I was younger, uh, I didn't get the opportunity to learn about the musical instrument, and I was more focused on my study. So I had never get a, I had never a chance to learn the musical instrument.
Okay, okay, I had never chance. You're talking about in the past. In the last sentence, I had never chance to learn any musical instrument because you are talking about in the past. And you, in the first sentence, you had, I will give you positive feedback at the end of the entire test. But if I notice any grammatical mistake, I will provide you question by question because sometimes we forgot it. In the first question, you said I have learned to play. It is good, but I have discussed paraphrasing is a good and it is the part of lexical resource. You can say when Sadaki mentioned, Sadaki was saying, I had never taught how to play a musical instrument. So you can also say, I did not get any kind of lessons. I was never taught. You can say there are different ways. When you can talk about past simple, I was not taught. I had never taught to learn musical instruments. I was not given any lessons to learn about any kind of skill related to musical instruments. So you can say there are different ways, and it is not for men so much, it is for all of us, and we need to focus on it. And that is the reason I always say try to focus on other speakings, try to give them suggestion, try to adopt ideas, try to adopt the words which they are using. So there are many benefits when we observe other performance and practice chess answers. What musical instruments do you enjoy listening to the most?
Well, I am not really into the musical instrument. I prefer enjoy listening to songs and watching dramas rather than focusing on the musical instrument and band formation.
Okay, your answer was like okay. Just one thing.
Hello. Audible?
Okay, I was providing the suggestion. Your answer was like, okay, there's no problem. Just I want to say, when we talk about musical instrument, you need to prefer. I don't prefer to learn a skill, or I don't prefer to listen to musical instruments. So you need to add one word listen, but we can add some synonyms, and we can know what synonyms we can add. Do you think children should learn to play an instrument at school?
Well, I think children should learn uh, to play musical instrument at school, because I think the musical instrument allow them to uplift mood, and by learning about this skill, they can develop the habit of a consistency and concentration. uh, so that's why I believe learning about the musical instrument is essential for children at school.
I did not notice any grammatical mistake. Do you think music education is important for children?
Yes, I think music education is important for children, because by learning this skill, they can develop the habit of consistency and concentration. Uh, Rather, this skill, if they don't want to become musician, this skill can help them in the other field of life. So I think it would be great if they learn this skill.
Okay, ma'am. If you, I think I missed some part because your voice for me was distorted. All right. So I would say your overall performance was good. Like I have seen improvements, but I have one question from you, ma'am. Like in the first two answers of question, you were very confident. The problem which I have mentioned is your voice, like your wife seeing that you're shimmer and don't have confidence. This was not the problem when you answered first two questions, and I was very happy like you overcame it. But it again started in customer second last and last. So can you explain why this happened? Why it was not in question number 1 and 2, and why it was in part 3 and part 4?
Ma'am, I don't know, but I think I am more focusing on creating ideas, so that's why I am little confused when giving the answer.
So you are thinking, I think you need to notice, because I was not able to catch like why this difference happened. And I think your speaking looks much good when you are not like you are confident. I would say try to listen this recording carefully for part 1 and part 2 answers, as well as part 3 and part 4. You will notice it. And I would say, if what was happening, I think you have the knowledge for part 1 or part 2. Have you lacked ideas for part for the question 3 and question 4?
Yes, ma'am. I think that was the reason. Actually, ma'am, for those question, I got the idea from GPT. So when I try to speak, I come to that answer, and so that's why I think I am confused and try to remember those lines. So that's why I think
So it was for question number 3 and 4.
yes. And question 3 and 4, I think those are similar, and I need to repeat the idea. So that's maybe the reason.
Okay, yeah, exactly. What I let me, based on your if I provide you the overall observation, I would say what happened. Like in part 1 and part 2 questions were your natural way of giving the answers, while part 3 was the one which you collected the ideas from different resources, and you are unable like you are not able to memorize them, and when you try to use them, your fluency sometimes seem disrupted because you were trying to using it, but you are not able to recall them. So what I would suggest, try to adapt instead of just go through the answers and try to get what ideas they are saying and try to understand the words like what they mean in that context. So when we understand actually the word meaning and try to make some sentences of that word, if you're learning new words, like if you have learned one piano, piano is my favorite musical instrument. So try to make different sentences instead of just memorizing is not possible. I have told you many people this one. There are 220 topics above 200 in this book for part one, and you can't memorize the answer. Even if you memorize the answer, examiner are trained to spot it. Try to give the natural way of speaking. I think what I would say, ma'am, try to speak naturally. Don't worry about the ideas what comes in the mind. I think that is the reason your uh, answers of question 1 and 1 2 were looking very confident and was very good compared to part 2, question number 3 and 4. I would suggest try to stay or speak naturally. It is much better than for you, and your performance is good in that. By the way, if I will notice any difference in the upcoming classes, I will suggest, but I have noticed you can improve quickly. You have the ability to improve quickly. And I have seen I've seen improvements in your speaking, because I think that is the main reason is you are regularly contributing to this session. Like you are always ready to answer the question. In my opinion, this is might be the reason. And I would like to ask one more question. Are you practicing them besides this session?
Yes, ma'am.
How you practice?
Actually, ma'am, that the topic that you have given, I explore it on the GPT and try to learn new lines and get the idea from GPT.
Have you practiced for speaking for this topic?
Ma'am, I just gave the idea. I just collect the ideas and
Okay.
some lines from GPT Note practice.
All right. So, are you practicing beyond this session for
Ma'am,
any topic?
yes, sometime I make a call on GPT and then I try to speak.
Okay, you are doing. You are practicing with ChatGPT. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Ma'am,
So,
ma'am,
yes.
ma'am, there is a question in the chat box related to either we ask the speaker to change the question if the question is not related to our interest. Like he asked me that music is not according to my taste. Can you ask the speaker to change the question?
Can we tell the speaker to change the question? Like myself, I don't know about music. So if the speaker asks this question, can I tell him that I don't have much knowledge about music, so I'm not able to speak much about it? So if I answer your question directly, I would say no. Let's see, I have the question. Let's see, there is a one reading passage. You don't know about vocabulary, anything. Can you ask any person to change that topic? Would you
Madam,
ask,
can you
like,
read your question again? What you are asking?
my question is, let's one topic has been occurred in your reading passage. Can you ask that change this topic? Can you ask that
No,
change my
madam.
practice? So
No,
answer will
usually,
be
as
no.
you know, the whole passage is given and we have to understand that passage. But as you know, I usually not hear a lot about music and I don't have any knowledge about music. So how I can speak on that topic where I don't have any knowledge?
Uh, sir, have you asked the question in your last and I was not able to catch it? Can you say it again?
Yeah, I'm telling that if a reading passage will come on the topic of music, I have to read that topic and answer accordingly. But if a speaker asks about music, I don't have any knowledge about music, so how I can speak on that topic if I don't know much about music or this kind of topic?
Okay.
Like I usually don't hear about
I
music.
don't.
So
Alright, and the same is the case with me. If you join this session in the very beginning, I have answered the question for this part, and I never went to collect any ideas in the beginning. I just speak on the spot to just make myself comfortable, to test myself, like how I can answer the question even if I don't know. So you have noticed that I have answered this past question and I don't have any knowledge in this field. I just know like guitar might be is a musical instrument, but I don't know nothing about it. So I have answered the question. So I would say we can't say the examiner to change the person, but there is a one thing. Let's see, I need to give the example. That way examiner might change the topic. Someone told me that person usually we discuss about we need to make stories which are not true. We need to make a story because we need to answer the person. But let's say there are certain question, like the question was, have you ever learned to play a musical instrument? If you have not get a chance, you can directly say, I did not get any chance to get any kind of lessons for musical instruments because it was not uh, I have said there were not many institutions. You can say that my society do not allow me. You can provide any reason why you have not get any chance, why you had not been taught to get any lessons for musical instruments. So they said which type of musical instruments. So if you don't have any exposures, you can say that I'm not the person who get any kind of exposure to musical instrument, so I don't know much nothing about it. If I try to guess, like you can say, I just listen to all the background music which are played behind the like song or any drama. So this is also the way, because at least I would say every person is familiar with that thing. Like there are some background musics which are played behind the dramas or different things. So you can also answer this question even if you nothing know any kind of instrument name. Guitar, by the way, they are certain. I think many people will know, but if you don't have like myself, you can answer in that way. So I just know the name of guitar, but I was not familiar with it. I just listened the song recently because I was preparing for this exam, but I don't know nothing. So I answered that question by giving an example. I just know and I like that, but I don't have frequent exposure to musical instruments. So this is the another way. Let me share the one story. One of person personally said to me that if there is any last persons and you find like someone are asking 4 to 5 different questions, and the last person is his asking like 4 question was music, 4 question was related to your daily routines, and 5 question was you seen that part is going to, and like last person was musical instrument, and that person asked, do you like to play with musical instrument? In that they try to be honest, like I'm not the, don't try to make any false story in part one. Why this is the reason, like you don't say like I play music like guitar. Examiner will understand you have a lot of information like you are within it. That person said that examiner, that person got 7 when speaking. That person said to me that examiner asked couple of questions and then asked last question about like that, and I said I don't know about this. You can't say I don't know and you can't end the question. You just need to give the answer for the limit which is defined at least. So that person answered the question, and that person also said that there's no like much knowledge about this field. And that person said, I have seen that examiner was changing like something another page. That what that person candidate understand. That person said, I might answer that question like in a way that I don't know about, and that might be the reason that when the examiner was changing something, changing another page or whatever, that person analyzed it. That was the reason, like that examiner was trying to um, change the topic. He might change the topic just because of my answer. So I would say if you are at the end of any question in this first association, you can answer like that. Like you don't know, but you still answer for a couple of seconds, not couple of seconds, at least 2 to 3 complex sentences, or might be around 15 to 20 seconds. so that you show you have the ability to speak, because we need to get score. But there might be a chance he or she might change just because of things. This can adapt you, but it is not guaranteed every time. But at that, and the last person I would say, be stay honest, but still topic comes in front of you. There's no other solution just to make a story and then speak on it. So you need to do this. And another thing,
The thing which I understand from your discussion is that if we don't know about the topic, then we have to explain the speaker that why we do not know about this topic, like we don't have any exposure about the topic, and we don't have to uh, make any false
okay,
stories related to that topic. Is it right?
I think I would, if I say overall, I would not say, you can't say I don't know. You can start your person like that. I don't know about thing. I have never thought it. Like if we talk about have you, and you need to say I have. I had. If you don't have any knowledge, then I I have answered that I had never been taught to learn any musical instrument. So examiner will understand that you don't have exposure, and then you need to give the answer, explain the reason, but you need to tell about the answer related to the question. Not don't go beyond like too much off topic. So this is one thing. But in the last person, if it is occurred like examiner was decided to move to part 2, and he was just judging you, either you have knowledge about this person, and he just randomly asked completely one person which was different from the part 1 topic which you were answering, but that person is still relevant to part 1. You can say I like the in the you don't say I don't know, you need to answer the person in the context of person and talk about like why you don't know, like you don't have knowledge, you have never thought about it. So this is a phrase people also use. This is the one thing you can say. I have gave you the example, but what happened if the person occurred in the part 2? So you don't have any right to change the person, you need to speak on it. So then you need to make a story and try to give your best. And some people say we need to go through a variety of topics at least once a time, and this book is the best. So that is the reason. So you need to explore a variety of topics and understand in which topics are you facing issues. Like you think that this topic will be difficult for you. Like let's say for you said musical instrument topic is difficult for you. So try to read variety of answers on the internet, and you will get a lot of ideas. I have done for myself for a variety of topics in which I was thinking that I will lack ideas. So you will do this. This is the one way. But what I was listening one practice mock test on the internet, and it was then one of the YouTubers, and that person was running the YouTube channel. That person belonged to from medical field, and person asked about AI. And you know, we being a computer science and part of iCode group community, I hope so many people are familiar with AI. But that person from medical field, and that person don't know anything about AI. So it will be very easy for me to describe about AI because it is my field. But for that person, it was very difficult. So how that person started to answer, he just used, I have never thought about it. If I try to make a guess, like that person use different kinds of phrases and then answer the question. So you can say that in that way, but that person try to answer. That person doesn't say in part that I don't know and I can't answer this. This is the thing, even you can't say for part 1. Part 1 person are very short. You can just say, yes, I like, I don't like. So this is not, you need to answer that person. And that person started that question and said, if I had to make a guess, I would say. So you need to do this.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, क्या हाल है आप लोगों के?
वालेकुम अस्सलाम सर, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम सर।
ग्रेट टू सी मैम माहा ज़ैनब ओवर हियर। तो मैम आप गाइड करने आई हैं स्टूडेंट्स को?
मैं इनको गाइड भी करने आई हूँ और इनसे गाइडेंस भी लेने आई हूँ।
सही, ज़बरदस्त, माशाल्लाह। तो जी मैम माहा ज़ैनब, जिनको लोगों को नहीं पता, तो इनका वीज़ा लग चुका है, स्कॉलरशिप हो चुका है। तो इंशाल्लाह ये अगस्त में यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स आ रही हैं फुल्ली फंडेड स्कॉलरशिप पे, तो जो कि तकरीबन 100% फी वेवर होता है और नॉर्मली $2000 का स्टाइपेंड होता है जिसमें एक फैमिली आराम से गुजारा कर सकती है। तो ग्रेट टू हैव यू मैम ओवर हियर, वी आर प्राउड ऑफ यू। तो किसी साथी को क्वेश्चन है तो पूछ सकता है।
सर